wants you to know this, but yes, you can lose weight without exercising, and I'm gonna break down exactly how to do it. Science tells us that the only way to lose weight is a calorie deficit. This means you're burning more calories in a day than you're eating. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, how the heck am I supposed to burn that many calories without exercising literally all day long, then you probably don't understand the difference between active and passive calorie burn. Active burn are the calories that you're gonna burn when you are working out. You're running on the treadmill, you're strength training, you're swimming. Those are your active burn calories, and the good news is that those are the ones that we really don't actually care about that much. The calories we do care about are your passive burn calories. These are the calories that you are burning when you're basically doing nothing, when you're sitting, you're sleeping, you're watching TV, you're subscribing to this channel. Those are the calories that matter. Your body is burning calories all day long, and those are the ones that we are taking into account when figuring out your calorie deficit. So the first thing you need to do if you want to figure out how to lose weight without exercising is calculate what your specific calorie deficit is. And you'll do this by using what's called a TDEE calculator online. I'm gonna have one linked in the description so you can go ahead and fill it out. A lot of people tend to go wrong when they're filling this out, and it just ends up with them not getting any weight loss results. So let me tell you how to do it the right way. Here is an example of a fake profile that I'm going to use. Go ahead and fill all of this out as accurately as possible. And when you get to the bottom question, it's going to ask you what amount of movement you get every single day on a weekly basis. And the problem is that a lot of people tend to overestimate how much movement they get. Now, I'm somebody, I go to the gym several times a week, but outside of that exercise, I'm really not moving that much. I'm not getting tons and tons of steps every day. My job isn't something where I'm on my feet, which is why I personally put that I am sedentary. Now, I would say majority of people, unless you are literally getting over 10,000 steps every single day, hitting the gym 4 to 5 times a week, you are probably sedentary too. Hi, it's me editing. I wanted to add context here because I feel like I just told you that I exercise a lot and then lie and say that I don't in order to like manipulate the numbers, and I want to provide context. I think that these calculators, especially these online ones, like if you're not working with a professional to figure this out, they just really overestimate. And so to me, when I undershoot it instead of overshooting it, it's going to give me better results, which is why I suggest doing that. So like, yes, I do go and get movement a few times a week, but in my personal experience, when I put light exercise, I felt like it was a lot harder for me to lose weight in the deficit number that it gave me for light exercise than when I just put sedentary. So that's why I'm saying, like, unless you're somebody who does really get a lot of exercise, you should just put sedentary. But really what I'm trying to just say is like underestimate rather than overestimate, because if you overestimate, then you're going to be given a much higher calorie target to go from, which is going to make it harder for you to lose weight. But if you underestimate, then your calories are going to be a little bit lower, which is probably going to help you lose that weight. So I hope that that makes sense. I just wanted to clarify because I feel like that was low-key kind of confusing. Okay, bye. All right, go ahead and plug all those numbers in and then submit it. And you're going to get a few things here. And don't get caught up in what these numbers say. Listen to what I'm going to tell you to do because my advice is better. The first number that you're probably going to see is your maintenance calories. And these are the calories that if you ate this amount of calories in a day, you would maintain your current weight, right? If you ate at that calorie goal, you would maintain your weight. If you ate over, you would gain weight. And if you ate under, you would lose weight. Now, the problem with a lot of these websites is that they're also going to give you calorie suggestions for weight loss. However, the problem is that they are going to give you calorie suggestions for what I believe is pretty rapid weight loss and unrealistic weight loss, because the reality is that a lot of us, myself included before I started my journey, are eating way more than what this calorie goal is for you, right? I know for me at the beginning of my journey, I was easily eating anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day. So even though my maintenance calories were around 2,000, I was eating way more than that. So the first thing that I would suggest is to slowly work yourself into this deficit. So many people skip this step because they've decided that they want to start a weight loss journey, which also means they decided that they probably want to see results very quickly. However, when you go for quick results, you end up doing some sort of crash diet, rushing into things, and then you're going to end up giving up and repeating the cycle over and over and over again. So it's better to ease yourself into this because this is going to give you those results, except it's going to be sustainable and actually last longer if you don't skip this step. So instead of jumping right into a calorie deficit, your first goal is going to be getting yourself to eat at your maintenance calories. Figure out how many calories you're currently eating in a day and scale it back slowly over a couple weeks until you are eating at your maintenance calories. And then get used to what it feels like to eat at your maintenance calories for just a few weeks. You might be shocked to see that you actually do lose a little bit of weight in this process if you're somebody like me who was constantly overeating and constantly feeling like full and bloated. Before I was even eating in a deficit, I feel like my body looked different and I was getting rid of some water weight that I was holding on to, you might even start to see physical results on your body even before you jump into that deficit number eventually. Now, when I talk about slowly working yourself into this deficit, I don't necessarily mean that you're completely changing the way that you're eating. You can do something as simple as swapping the milk in your morning coffee to almond milk instead of whole milk to save yourself 100, 150 calories. You can start by even just decreasing the portion sizes of what you're currently used to eating. You don't have to make any sort of crazy life-changing leaps. You can just make little small changes that will ultimately add up and make a difference over time. So the reality with weight loss is that if you are eating in a calorie deficit over time, you are going to lose weight. That is scientific. That is how we know our bodies respond to eating in a deficit, is that they lose weight, they lose fat. So if your goal is fat loss and you're trying to avoid exercise, then this is gonna be the way to do it. You have to make sure that you are eating in a caloric deficit. But here's where I wanna hold your hand and tell you something, because I think it's really important. I know I personally have searched how to lose weight without exercise 100 times in my life because I was someone who used to really dread exercise. I hated it. I hated the thought of it. I didn't like being sweaty. I didn't like feeling exposed at the gym, or I didn't have the motivation to get myself to work out at home. I just didn't like doing it. I wasn't the type of person who felt excited about going on a walk. Like, I've been in your shoes. I know how it feels to be in this situation. And yeah, the reality is that you can lose weight without exercising. But I think the hard truth is that we should be exercising. Not just for weight loss, but because it's good for you. And that's a mindset that really has helped me on my journey. When you're able to separate exercise from weight loss, I think it can be really life-changing, right? Because if the only reason that we are getting up and going to the gym and moving our bodies is because we want to look different, I just feel like you're setting yourself up to constantly be disappointed, to constantly be checking your body and seeing if you're getting those physical results. And it's just kind of setting you up to be constantly disappointed and be chasing something that's going to be really hard to obtain. But if we start purely because, hey, I know that it's important for me to move my body because it's good for my health, that really changes things. It makes it a lot more enjoyable because it means that you don't have to go to the gym. You can do something that you really enjoy doing. If you love swimming, you love roller skating, you love surfing, whatever it is that you like doing, getting that intentional movement and being intentional about moving your body, the stakes are so much lower when you're doing it for your health rather than doing it to look a certain way. You know what I mean? I mean, the stakes are high because obviously it's important for our health to be exercising, but I feel like it takes that pressure off of doing it because you want to look a certain way. When I started my journey almost 3 years ago, I didn't have a goal weight. I didn't have a goal body. I didn't really even know what I wanted out of this other than, hey, I feel bad right now. I don't like how I feel. I don't like my relationship with food. I don't like my relationship with how my body feels every single day. I want to change that. I had no idea what that was going to look like. I had no idea that it would result in me losing 70 pounds and now maintaining it and completely healing my relationship with food, mind, and body. But what's so beautiful about that is that I didn't set myself up to constantly be disappointed or frustrated or mad at myself when I wasn't looking the way that I wanted to look or I wasn't reaching my weight loss goal. I was proud of myself every step of the way. Every single part of my journey, I was proud of myself. Whether it was 1 week in, a year in, 2 years in, I was proud of the progress that I had made at that time because I was just taking care of my health, and that felt incredible. So my message to you is, if you want to lose weight without working out, I understand that. I understand that desire. But my encouragement to you is to move your body because it's good for you. If you want to separate working out from weight loss, do it. I think that's the best thing that you can possibly do. But don't actively choose to avoid exercise. Because when you choose to avoid exercise, you are neglecting your health. And that's something that I did for years. And I thought that I could keep doing and keep getting away with. And I'm so glad that I eventually chose to not do that. As much as I hate to say it, when I am active, when I am moving my body, and I'm not even talking about any sort of crazy exercise, when I am getting movement in, period, I feel a lot better. This has nothing to do with weight. I physically feel better. I mentally feel better. As a whole, I feel so much better. I'm more productive. I have better mental clarity. Moving your body is so good for you, and everybody should try to move it. It's a blessing to be able to move your body. That's something I remind myself all the time, especially as someone who has a sick parent. Being able to go out and move your body is such a blessing, and it is something that we should all be taking advantage of. There are a lot of videos on this platform that are going to try to convince you to do a bunch of crazy things in order to lose weight, and that is not what you're going to get on this page. I'm going to give you real science-based weight loss tips that are sustainable and realistic and hopefully not damaging for your mental health, because as someone who struggled with my mental health around food, eating, weight loss for so many years, I really just wanted to create a safe space where I can help women who have gone through similar things as me see that weight loss doesn't have to be toxic, that weight loss doesn't have to be crazy busy and difficult, that it can actually be fun and you can eat the foods you love and still lose weight. That's why I created this cookbook. It has 72 of the weight loss recipes that I ate on my journey. You can also upgrade it to the bundle guide. That's going to give you my fast food eating out guide so you know what to order low calorie at your favorite fast food place. You're going to have my guide for snacking, my grocery list, coffee recipes, so much more. So make sure to check that out. And if you want more personalized help on your weight loss journey, I do have a one-on-one coaching program. So make sure to check that out as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and come back for more.